Well, hey there, I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Well, hello there, I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Hey, I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Hello. I am Jay. Welcome to my booth. Well, hello there. I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Hi there. I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Hi there. I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. How you going? I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. Accents. They're fun to mess around with, and in voiceover, they can make you a more versatile and hireable person at times. They come up every now and again. Sometimes a client will say, hey, can you do a blah, blah, blah accent? And if you can say, why, yes, I can, you've booked another job. So if you're looking to expand your repertoire, learn a new accent, or just get into accents in general, what are some ways to go about it to learn it not only well, but faithful to the original? Here are some tips for you. Tip number 1, go to the source. Find somebody who speaks that accent natively as their own. And if you know somebody, great. If they're willing to let you bug them for a couple weeks as you say, hey, can you send me a voice memo saying turkey? How do you say that? Then they're wonderful, wonderful friends, and send them a box of chocolates. There's also great resources here online, one of them being the YouTubes. You don't have to look up accent-specific videos, but you can look up like, oh, here's somebody from Leeds or people of Glasgow or something like that. And by watching videos of people talking in that space, you not only get to listen to the language, the way they talk, the way they comport themselves, but you can also pick up on little nuances. Like, for example, sometimes the way people say hello to each other can be different. In, say, Australia, a lot of people will go, how you going? Instead of, hey there, or something like that. And that's something that you pick up from just listening to native speakers of whatever accent. So find somebody there, because it's the best way to do it true and honorable justice instead of some weird Saturday Night Live approximation. Tip number 2, break things down into sounds. As you're listening to your native speaker, who I would suggest maybe finding a single touchstone, one person to or sample that you can go back to and listen to over and over again as you're learning. As you're listening to that, it can be tempting to say, oh, okay, here's how they say that word, and hang on to that. But that leaves you somewhat inflexible because you're listening to, okay, that word is said this way. And finding a sample of somebody saying every word in the English language is going to be impossible. I don't even think I've said every word in the English language in my entire life. I know I haven't. But if you break things down into the building blocks, like the little tiny phonemes, they're called, of the English, of just human speech in general, you can rebuild it in any permutation that shows up. You can think of it sort of like Legos, those master builders. Every single piece is more or less a rectangle, and they can build incredible models out of just little rectangles. Similar thing with accents and phonemes. So the way I do that is I listen to the word, and we'll take as an example the word there. The way I say it is there. So breaking that down, there's th, there, sort of sound it out. And then I know, okay, that's sort of the phoneme structure for this word. And then say I'm learning Scottish. I can listen to someone speaking and they'll say, oh, I want to go over there. Then I listen to there, there, there. And so by breaking it down, now I know, okay, if I'm doing a Scottish accent and a word ends in air, the way I say it, there, air, that last phoneme, I can spread that through the rest of that Scottish dialect. So over there, I was looking for a bit of air, and I thought to myself, maybe I'll cut my hair. And I can just spread it out. Another way to think about it is listen to vowel sounds and listen to the way words end. Those 2 points are kind of the keystones of the whole dialect. So, for example, if I'm working on a Russian dialect or something like that, I could listen to goose, okay? Words that have oo in them. This is the way I say it, goose. Then a Russian person might say it as goose. There is a goose. Goose, goose. And then I know, okay, so this is how I say goose. I can take oo and spread it through the rest of the Russian dialect. That goose wore boots before he went toots. I don't know, I'm speaking nonsense. But you spread that same stuff out throughout the whole language. And a great way to look at the way words end, aside from the Scottish dialect, is of course Standard British. It's ubiquitous, we've all heard it, we've all watched innumerable things where people talk like this. And so using, again, the word there, so I say it, there, Standard British, it's there. I went over there. I thought I would go out there for some air and cut my hair. There's no R in any of those. All of those differences are important, and again, I know I'm broken record, but you can transpose those through the entire dialect. Really, really helpful. Tip number 3. Practice, practice, practice. When I'm learning a new accent, I am the most obnoxious person on the planet because I'm talking to myself incessantly. I'm walking around mumbling to myself. I'm pointing at things and naming them. And the two things that help me the most in terms of learning a new accent is as I'm walking around, or I'm a runner, and as I run through the city here in New York City, I read every sign and have a little conversation with myself about it. Oh, look, there's a bookstore. I think I'd love to go in that little bookstore over there. And I can just sort of feel out and get used to the way my mouth is moving, these new ways that the muscles in my mouth are having to work for this new accent. And it's just helpful. And beyond reading signs out and about, just mumbling to myself constantly, I find reading actual text, whether it's a book or a magazine or an internet article or whatever, reading out loud is really, really helpful because it introduces words to me that I may not say normally. As an example, say I'm learning a Texas accent. Ideas recordings are principally in English, are of native speakers, and include both English language dialects and English spoken in accents of other languages. And by breaking, it just helps, because I would never say dialect in the way that I'm talking normally, or principal recordings, stuff like that. They're just new combinations that are helpful to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Tip number 4, exaggerate. It may feel a little weird or even uncomfortable at times, but by turning the dial all the way up to 11, when you're practicing this accent, whatever it may be, it helps your body to understand the differences between the way you speak naturally with your own accent and the way that the muscles in your face, tongue, throat, lungs, brain all move when you're using this new accent, because they will be different. So you're not only learning just those different shapes that you need to make in order to produce the correct sounds, but you're also strengthening those muscles because, believe it or not, it's sort of like a workout whenever you're practicing an accent. Sometimes when I'm working on a new accent too much, my face and tongue can feel like pieces of rubber, sore, because I'm using them in different ways. And so by exaggerating, it's sort of like you're training those muscles to do it more easily and with more facility, which, coincidentally, if someone's been speaking with this accent their whole life, it should be pretty easy for them. So exaggerate. Tip number 5, record yourself. It's really, really helpful to record yourself practicing or saying whatever script you might be needing to do, if that's the case, and listen to the playback and compare that sample of your own accent practicing to whatever sample you've chosen as sort of your touchstone for this accent and see if there are any red flags, because it can help you to understand, oh, my native dialect is sort of slipping in at this point when I say words like this. And you can sort of flag that and work on them a little bit more. In addition, as you're exaggerating an accent, you may be surprised if you record a really over-the-top performance in your mind. But as you listen to playback, as has happened to me more than once, you're like, dang, I was really going hard on that accent to the point where I was worried I was going to offend somebody, but I actually sound close to normal, which can be really surprising. May not always be the case, but it's helpful as a touchstone. So, as always, I hope this was helpful for you. And if you have any questions about this or anything else related to voiceover, voice acting, drop me a line down below, reach out on my website. And of course, if you're interested in coaching, I have that available as well. Until the next one of these, I'll catch you then. And in the meantime, be well. Toodles.